Hi and welcome to another mock revision tutorial based on 3 questions that my classes have found more challenging. Okay, so we're going to go through 3 more in this third tutorial. First of all, looking at factorizing, and there's 3 different types of factorizations going on here. This first one is called the difference of 2 squares method, and it's all based around this idea that if you've got x squared minus a squared, then you can have x plus a minus a, all right, like so. So not always easy to spot. Usually we've got square numbers in here for a start, and as an example, if we had, say, x squared minus 100, we could have x plus 10, x minus 10 here. Okay, if we times it out, we're going to get 10x and negative 10x, which actually cancel each other out. So in this question, if you've got 4x squared minus 9, then you're looking to think about what we would be multiplying together to make 4x squared with 2x and 2x, okay? And then thinking about this being a square number, this 9, we've got plus and negative, plus and subtract, and we've got a squared, okay? So our a squared is 9. What is the square root of 9? That would be 3 and negative 3. Now, if you want to just check it for yourself, if we times this together, we get 4x squared. If we times this together, we get minus 9. Okay, but if we times 2x and 3 together, we get 6x positive. And if we times minus 3 and 2x together, we get negative 6x. Those 2 things are going to actually cancel each other out. If I write it out, 4x squared plus 6x minus 6x minus 9, and they cancel. Okay, so what we end up with is the 4x squared minus 9. Remember, factorizing means put brackets in. So the answer, 2x plus 3, 2x minus 3, through the difference of 2 squares method. Okay, difference of 2 squares. Okay, so we've gone through that previously. So it's just revision. And this one here, okay, now this one is in the form ax squared plus bx, okay, in which case I know automatically that it's not going to be 2 brackets, it's just going to be 1 bracket. So I'm just looking for factors, really, and the only factor I can see there, because 4 and 9 don't have any common factors, is x. So I just take out the x, and then I've got 4x minus 9, and I can't do anything else with that. There's no common factors in that bracket, can't take anything else out. And then the last one is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so therefore I'm aiming to get it into 2 brackets. Okay, I'm looking for 2 numbers that will multiply to give 2. Okay, and I'm looking to make 4x squared as well. So options here, I could have 4x and x to multiply together for the first things in the brackets. I could also have 2x and 2x. I'm going to try 4x and x first. I know that this is a prime number, so there's only really one option. I've got 2 and 1, just got to decide where they go, thinking about the fact that the signs are going to have to be the same, but they're going to be adding to give a negative. So they're both going to be negative. If they're, this number here, it's going to be positive and it's going to be adding up to give a negative, they've both got to be negative. I hope you can see that. And then I've got to think about, well, I've got to create a minus 9 when it gets times out. Perhaps if I put 2 there and the 1 there, that's going to make a minus 8. That's going to make a minus 1. And that's going to give a negative 9. Let's try it. I think I've got it here. So 4x squared. Okay, if I times this out, I get 4x squared there. I get plus 2 on the end. And in the middle, I get minus x. And I get minus 8x. And that together gives us 4x squared minus 9x plus 2. So I've done it, okay? So I did it through a bit of detective work, quite tricky. So the answer is 4x minus 1, x minus 2. So yeah, okay, so there's the 3 sort of main types of factorization going on in this question. And hopefully it's revision, and hopefully a lot of that made sense. Okay, next one. Again, so we've got functions here, we've got a straight line graph. Okay, one of the lines in the diagram is labeled y equals mx plus c. Find the values of m and c. Well, we know that the m is the gradient, the c is the y-intercept. So straight away I can see the y-intercept is 8. I'm going to put that in. And how do we find m? Well, m is rise over run. Okay, it's the simplest way to remember it. So if I go and have a look at what my rise is and my run, if I go and, I don't know, take 2 points on this line, my rise there is 2. My run is heading that way because it's a negative gradient, -2 to go from 6 to 4. So my rise over run is 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by -2. So I think my m is -1 there. Okay. Right, now the next bit, B, this is linear programming. So we need to shade all the unwanted regions on the diagram, the region defined by the inequalities. Now, we've got 4 lines here. We've got 1, 2, we can see x equals 1, and we can see y equals 4, a vertical and a horizontal line. Each one of these inequalities is related to one of the lines. So First of all, I'm just going to think about it with an equal sign. X equals 1. This is this line here, this vertical line. And it wants us, the relevant part of it is where x values are greater than or equal to 1. So I'm going to shade out anything that isn't that. And that is this area here, so the left of this line, right? So in this line here, I have not got values that are greater than or equal to 1. They're actually less than 1. Can you see that? So we've shaded out the unwanted region there, okay, using that line as a basis. Next thing, I'm going to have a look at y equals mx plus c, this line that I've just been referring to. Actually, what it is y equals, if we wanted to put the equation in, minus x plus 8. Okay, but anyway, this line here, and I've got it. I know which one it is that I'm looking at, y equals mx plus c. And I'm looking at where it's less than, okay? So the relevant bit is less than, it's underneath the line, so I'm going to shade out anything that isn't that, i.e. the stuff that's above. Okay, so there we go, that's that done. Shade it out. The next bit, I'm looking at y equals x plus 2, so I've got to think about which line that would be. So that's going to be y equals x plus 2, that's just x plus 2. That would be this line here crossing at 2, and I'm interested in above that line, y greater than that line. So I'm going to shade out anything that isn't. So I'll just do this like I've been doing. I'm interested in above the line, it's greater than that line, so I'm going to shade out anything below the line. Okay, so I'll go for a different color this time. So anything below that line is really anything under here. Okay. And then the last bit is this bit. Let's not forget the fourth one. It's just there. Y equals 4 is the line. Y equals 4. It's that horizontal line there. And I'm only interested in above the line. Y greater than or equal to 4. So I'm going to shade out anything that is below that. So that's going to be there. Anything below it. Shade it out. So I'm just basically shading out that small triangle. And I've done it. Okay, it's all done. So I'm only left with one relevant area that fulfills all of those 4 conditions. And it asks me to write a letter R in that region. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's it. So let's just check what I've done. Show by shading all the unwanted regions. Yes, the region defined by the inequalities. Write the letter R. Good. Happy. Okay, and then the final question in this little mini tutorial is this one. So this caused few questions in my class, so let's do it. So we've got some spherical balloons. I'll try and do them as spherical as I can. They're not to scale. It says that, okay, so spherical balloon radius 3 meters. Let's just label this. I always draw what's going on. The volume here is 36 pi cubic meters, and it's further inflated until its radius is 12 meters. So let's just put that in. Calculate its new volume. So I'm trying to find its volume in meters cubed. Right, so it's just a similarity question, isn't it? I can get my length scale factor by doing big over small. So in terms of the lengths, what's my big length? Well, it's 12. What's my small length? It's 3. So my length scale factor is 4. Okay, we all know then if I'm looking at volume, I'm not going to be using 4. I'm going to be using the volume scale factor, which is basically the length scale factor cubed. In this case, 4 cubed, or 64. So this volume is going to be 64 times bigger than this volume. Okay, so if I do 36 pi times by 64, I am going to get that in terms of pi. I'm going to just do 36 times 64 then to see how many pi's it is. 36 times by 64 is equal to 2,000. So it's 2,304 pi meters cubed. Okay, so 2,304 pi. That's my final answer. Yes, I've left my answer in terms of pi. I was reading the question over again to make sure I've done everything correct. And that's it. Okay, so that was my working there. So it's very important that you show your working out and how you did it. Even do a picture, it really helps me out. That's what I'm quite a fan of, doing a picture. And I hope that that tutorial has also been helpful. And if it has, please don't forget to subscribe. And I hope it's helped you with your work.